You are listening to Visionaries Wrestling Network, providing your perfect podcast experience.
M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the MGB Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages. Hi, my name is Mason, and here's proof that wrestling fans still live with their parents, my co-host, my dad, Graham.
Okay, this is MGB 003 WrestleGate Pro. This was called Lion Spirit. May 18th, 2019, 2019, Rushcliffe Arena in Nottingham, England. Now, I wasn't even sure we were going to get to do this review. Normally they release on Pivot Share within about a week. And it had been getting close to 3 weeks. And I was like, I don't know. The plan was always to review this one and then review Crab Wrestling the following week. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Finally, it came out on Thursday. We watched this on the Friday and the Saturday, which is June 7th and June 8th. And we're actually recording today on June 9th. Now, there was a lot of hype about this match. This was all over Twitter, mainly because of the main event. And I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, well, let's go straight into the matches then. So, match one was a triple threat Lucha Libre rules match, and the first team was Whitewolf, which was A-Kid and Carlos Roma, versus Team Rising Sun Akira, which was Nick Lenders and Team Rising Sun, which is Akira and Nick Lenders, and M&M, which is Maverick Mayhew and Connor Mills. Some young talent in this match, Mason. The first team 22 and 24. The second team, 19 and 23, and the last team, 18 and 20. Also an international theme as well. A-Kid is based in Madrid, and the second team were actually both Italians as well. Now, I managed to get more information on this than I normally do. I love the new graphics. I like at the start, it comes out like a wrestling theme. It tells you like a boxing theme. It tells you like their height, their name, their age, all the stuff where they're from. I thought that was really useful, certainly for us anyway, how many years experience they got. Names of finishers as well. Sometimes we miss that at the end. We're like, well, they kind of look like this. We don't exactly know what it was. So I really liked that one as well. Oh, Maverick Mayhew. He was actually in that amazing four-way match from the first event, which I actually missed. You saw that one. And we did see M&M before, and it took me a while to find where they were. They faced Addicted to Adrenaline in the second WrestleGate Pro event. Okay, what do you got for this one?
I like how they have like a face commentator and a heel commentator. Mm-hmm. The heel commentator is way better than like Corey Graves does.
They're definitely going back and forth the whole time. It's kind of a British thing that people really are kind of insulting like that to each other. Sometimes, like, the closer you are, the more insulting you are to people. And yeah, they definitely go at each other. Like, yeah, there's no way I talk to you off air. Like, you definitely did say that because I would not even talk to you unless you paid me to do it. Yeah, they're really rough with each other, but I like it. I think it works really well.
So the bell rings and then drop kicks straight up the gate to everybody. And then half the turnbuckles are WWE style and half the turnbuckles are New Japan style.
That was a good observation, because you noticed that in the other one that they were New Japan style. I noticed one other thing, actually. The ones that were WWE style, one was red and one was blue as well. Now, it was kind of an interesting feel how they put that together. I'm not sure I liked it as much as the second one, actually. I commented on another podcast that my favourite ring design was actually the one from the second one. I think it was like yellow and black from what I can remember, but I thought that looked really good. But they certainly mixed it up for this one. Yeah, I wonder what was the thinking behind that one. I don't know if it's because it's different styles. I thought that was an interesting observation.
It might be for the last match.
It might have been. Yeah, I've certainly never seen that anywhere else. So it was certainly a unique thing, that's for sure. That's something I'd probably like to ask somebody, hey, why did you choose to do that?
And it's not like it played a big part or anything. It's just there. Mills throws Mayhew into the Rising Suns, and then Mayhew does like the DDT to them, double. And then a double 619... a neck breaker.
What do you mean by a double 619? I know because I saw it.
Like there were two people in the ring, and then there was like.
He got them both at the same time. I wondered if he was going to get one with his knee and one with his foot, but he kind of looked like he just got them both with his feet or his legs at least. Anyway.
I would have probably done like scrunched one of my legs up and then like had one straight out and then like kicked them both in the face.
I'm going to hold you to that once you start your wrestling training. I'm sure that was really difficult. I thought it looked really... I'm surprised I haven't seen that before. I'm sure probably Rey Mysterio has, but for me it was new anyway.
Neckbreaker and then a double knees off the top rope to Mills to give the White Wolves the win.
The White Wolves the win, they did. And actually, I saw this as well. I'm not sure which of the White Wolves actually posted this. This is on Twitter. WWE debut. What a wonderful day for all Spanish wrestling. Massive thanks to everyone who made this possible. Hashtag NXT UK Glasgow. Hashtag Team White Wolf. So obviously they're an up-and-coming team if they're even featuring on the NXT UK brand. And yeah, fantastic for those guys. And it's good that WrestleGate Pro are getting people like that in as well. They're bringing a lot of young, good talent into that field. Somebody also described this as wrestling equivalent of a fireworks display. I absolutely agree. This was started off, because the last few times it's been Ricky Knight Jr. who's led off the first match, and they've been really good as well. And this one was just, yeah, it was absolutely crazy. Also, I got from @WrestleGate Pro, what a way to kick off Lion Spirit. A double suicide dive from @Francis Coakira. I'm struggling on reading this one. And @Goalenders, followed by a Spanish fly from the apron by @A-Kid Wrestler. The event and match that had the wrestling world talking. Now, A-Kid as well also faces Pete Dunne in Spain on June 23rd. Alright, match 2, Niwa versus Gabriel Kid. Niwa we'd certainly seen before, and Gabriel Kid was introduced as being from Nottingham, although he told the commentary team allegedly, don't mention that I'm from Nottingham because I hate Nottingham. That was never really explained, and I thought that was kind of a little bit weird. I'd like a little bit more info on that one. Now, I do have @WrestlingGabe on Twitter, an incredible experience spending 12 days in LA training at the NJPW LA Dojo. Hard work with good people. So he's obviously working with New Japan as well, so there's some big stuff on for some of these people here. All right, Mason, go ahead.
There was a lot of, it was like a good match. I was really into it, and then I have the finish.
Well, one thing I thought you were going to mention, and I actually was not looking at this point because I don't, fingers were being bent back, and one of the commentators was like, yeah, I don't like that, I don't want to look at it, and I'm thinking, yeah, me neither, buddy, and I'm just looking down at my computer trying to research these guys, and I was waiting for you to go, hey, Daddy, look at the screen right now. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm not falling for that. I think I had the finish as well, so go ahead. Gabriel
Kid wins with the pile driver.
He does, and it actually says, a great hard-hitting match. @WrestlingGabe picks up the win over @Niwa_Pro, @WrestleGate Pro, #Lion Spirit. And yes, it was a pile driver because I wrote that down just in case you missed it, but I didn't think so. Now, one thing I liked about this one, and I don't think it happened on the previous two events, they had the highlights as well. After the match had actually finished, they went back and showed you, like WWE does, so you can see the finish again for a second time. Because sometimes we would miss stuff, because you don't know when the finish is coming up, and then we're like, hey, can you rewind this? And then we'd watch like the last minute again. I thought that worked really well. So we're 2 matches in now already, and there's a lot of new things on this that make it look, I think, even more professional. The graphics, the intros for the people. Let's see what I got for this one. Gabriel Kid. We already talked about Niwa in the previous one, so I just focused on Gabriel Kid for this one. On Twitter, yo, @Ref Chris Sharp. What day is it, dog? Now, the reason I picked that up is we obviously know Ref Chris Sharp. He was at Nova Pro for a while, and you got your picture with him, and you actually got to talk to him for a few minutes backstage at one of the events, which is really cool. And he says, as us Brits would say, Tuesday. AKA #SD Live Day. I like the fact my British people, I used to say Tuesday, and then I used to get mocked, and people like, you mean Tuesday? So I've reverted, I say Tuesday now. I don't think you've ever heard me say Tuesday. If I was talking to somebody from England, I would just say Tuesday. Like chewing your food. It's kind of one of those interesting pronunciations. Obviously, that's something that they talked about. And after we finished watching, I actually looked up Defiant Wrestling as well. Remember I talked about, hey, I've seen a lot of stuff about Defiant recently. It was really weird looking at some of these people. Defiant came up a lot. I've seen it a lot recently. I think it's one I want to get into. And they had something that was called, like, their best matches ever that you can watch. How about this one from 2017, then? Joe Hendry versus Cody Rhodes versus Gabriel Kid. I didn't actually watch the match, but Gabriel Kid is having matches against people like Cody Rhodes. Defiant is getting people like Cody Rhodes there as well. So there are a lot of big names in Defiant Wrestling, and I think that's one that I'm definitely going to be looking up as we got some time. We're on summer break in 2 days, buddy. We got plenty of time to look up new things like this. Alright, match 3. This was Giselle Shaw versus Katy Lees. And actually, Lizzy Styles got added into this match as well. Now, at Enter the Dragon, match 4 featured Giselle Shaw, Jamie Hayter, Sadie Gibbs, and Shaq, so we've seen them before. And it said that Katy was trained by Lance Storm, and she'd also appeared in Ring of Honor. However, she actually goes by the name Chardonnay. I'd actually seen a match of hers on Eve. Instead of watching the Super Showdown on WWE, I watched something on Eve called the Super She-Down, and she was actually featured on that one. And actually, she's the World of Sports Women's Champion as well. So, it was funny, I'd not heard of her before, and then suddenly I came to her 2 matches in the same day. Alright, what do you got for this one?
The ending.
Okay, well, I noticed one thing.
I'm just joking.
Well, there's one thing you did notice at the start, though. You noticed that they didn't put their weights. Like, for the other ones, I was like, I don't know, sometimes they do. Like, I've heard Nia Jax talk about, well, she botched it. She said I weigh 300.5 ounces when she meant 300.5 pounds. So sometimes they talk about it, but no, generally they tend not to mention the women's weights. It's considered impolite, I think.
Wow, she's very light, 300.5 ounces.
Yeah, it's like 18 pounds. It was a clear mistake. Apparently Ronda Rousey was in the ring for that one, and she was just laughing on the other side of the ring because she'd realised she'd messed up.
So Styles then teams up on, Lizzy and, Katy team up on Giselle, and then Alliance breaks when Liz tries to pin Giselle. And then Shaw wins with the corkscrew off the top rope. And then after the match, Katy attacked Giselle.
She did, and I thought the corkscrew dive is absolutely amazing. I can't believe how many rotations she gets on that.
It was sort of like Charlotte's thing, except she didn't like do a backflip.
Except it looks way better. I think it looks way better anyway.
I don't think it looks as better because she does a corkscrew, but then Charlotte, she does a corkscrew backflip.
Okay, well, you were allowed to disagree on this one, but I really like it. I think it looks way better. WrestleGate Pro tweeted, all 3 women giving it their all on this one. After the match, as you said, Lizzy Shaw offered Giselle a hand, and you actually called this one. You actually went to go take a shower at this point, because we were breaking up the matches a little bit, and you said, she's going to turn on Giselle, and then you went upstairs, and yeah, she did. She started wiping the makeup off Giselle's face, and she started calling her a diva. She got a wipe and starts rubbing it all over her face really roughly. Then she gave her a DDT as well when she was helpless on the floor. And as she's leaving, she hit a steward twice as well. The steward was trying to protect the ring announcer. I think the ring announcer's name is Jada. And he sort of got hit once, and then he tried to carry it again, and he got hit for a second time. So, she was a little bit feisty at the end, Lizzy Shaw. And we didn't mention that. I'm surprised you didn't talk about that. Although I normally talk about the other stuff. She was from Liverpool, and she had She had a Liverpool scarf on, and the commentator said, it's the scarf for the league runners-up and the Champions League runners-up. Now this was filmed after they had finished second in the Premier League, but they did actually win the Champions League after that. So the commentator got that one slightly wrong.
You said you would get that. That's why I didn't say.
All right, match 4: Danny Duggan versus Dean Allmark. At WrestleGate Pro. Saturday, one of the best technical wrestlers ever to grace a British ring at Dean Allmark makes his debut Saturday, against a man whose sole focus is on being recognised as the best British wrestler of his or any generation at Danny Duggan Pro. Now, we've seen Danny Duggan before. He was at the first Lionsgate event, and where he faced James Mason. I mixed
him up. I thought James Mason was the younger one, and then Danny Duggan was the older one.
Yeah, because you got that totally confused. And Dean Allmark's finisher, I liked. It's called the Smiles Clash. I thought that was really cool. You probably didn't see that part either, because I think I skipped ready to the start of this match, so you didn't have to while you were getting ready. And he did. He came out all smiles, but I thought that was a nice play on words with the Styles Clash. Now, the first tweet I see from Dean Allmark says, "Respect those who came before you, and accept all those who come after you." Now, there's actually 2 wrestlers called Danny Duggan, because I messed up on this one. There's one from Canada, and there's also this Danny who is called at Danny Duggan Pro. So to begin with, as I'm starting to research this, I was like, oh my gosh, he's in Toronto on the Friday, and then he's at WrestleGate Pro on the Saturday, and then he's in Toronto on the Sunday, and then I suddenly realized, no, that doesn't make any sense. And as I skipped through, I couldn't find anything for WrestleGate Pro, because it was a different Danny Duggan. All right, Mason, go ahead.
There was great technical wrestling. And so Dean, he, bridges, and then Danny, he tries to, jump on him, but there's no give. Dean, he does, he dabs on Danny Duggan. And then Dean, he does a handstand on the New Japan turnbuckle, but Danny Duggan, he just drop kicks the bottom of the turnbuckle to make him fall. Oh, yeah, so I clicked the pen thing to, make it go in, and then the fly got stuck in there.
That's amazing minutia right there. So you're telling me that it couldn't write after that?
No.
So you killed a fly during your taking notes of this match?
No, so I clicked the pen in, and then I put it down, and then I find a fly in there, and then I just push the pen up, the fly falls out, and then I'm still allowed to write it.
Do you have the finish?
What?
You haven't told us the finish of this match.
It died inside a pen.
No, the match.
Oh!
Not the fly.
So Danny wins with he cheated again, and he cheated again.
How? I know you don't have anything.
He pulled the tights.
Ah, he pulled his tights. So he got a pin, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Alright, okay. After the match, Danny Duggan held the ropes open for Dean, but he just drop-kicked him through it instead, which I thought was pretty funny. Danny Duggan, at Danny Duggan Pro. This is the day after. 2 shows, 2 wins, 2 points proved. I've beaten the best of the 2 sides of our generation in at Dean Allmark and at Jordan Breaks. I am generation now. At Dynamic Thinking the day after as well. The last time I saw at Danny Duggan Pro live, I'm pretty sure he wasn't an absolute beast of a lad. Great work from Duggan and at Dean Allmark yesterday at WrestleGate Pro. Allmark always brings his A-game, and Duggan proved that he's a top performer against one of the best. Okay, match 5, Robbie X versus Chris Ridgeway. And we've definitely seen these guys. So we saw Robbie X in the main event last time against Ilya Dragunov. And we've seen Chris Ridgeway a couple of times. He was against Konosuke
Takashita.
Okay, thank you. And also he was in the main event versus Jake McCluskey at the first event as well. So we've seen him a few times. So I don't think we need to talk anything about these 2 guys. So go ahead, Mason.
I thought it was Ilga Dragunov.
What did I say?
You said Ilya.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I remember it's Ilga.
It's a J.
Oh, J-A. Mm-hmm. I thought it was Ilga.
I'm going on my basis of Russian soccer players I've seen featured in the World Cup before, but I might be wrong.
He's Russian?
Not necessarily, but they have very similar sounding names.
Because during the soccer stickers, I saw 2 people from Russia named Ilga or Ilya.
I'm going to say it's Ilya. Because there's also hockey players as well. Like there's Ilya Kovalchuk. So I'm also basing on that. Now, I'm not saying I'm pronouncing his name correctly, and I can't remember from the commentary, but that's my basis of that. Anyway, how about some wrestling rather than our English pronunciations of non-English names?
Chris got Robbie in a submission, and the mat got really scrunched up.
Oh, yeah, it did. I've never seen that before, because normally they're pretty tight, and I don't know, that was really strange, actually, yeah.
So Chris caught Robbie during the flippy thing and put him to sleep.
Put him to sleep. No, I got before that then. So it was a submission then, in other words. Actually, yeah, we noticed at the end there, and I'm surprised you didn't mention that then. Because in WWE, they lift their hand up, and it's like, whoa.
They started doing just shaking their hand now.
Yeah, I guess if you're asleep, you're asleep.
Because I was watching Samoa Joe, Roman Reigns, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor was in the coquina clutch, and I was ready for the ref to raise up too, and then he holds his hand up, and then he just wiggled Finn Balor's arms, and then he just called it.
Yeah, normally the refs just step in on that. I don't think I've ever seen when it goes 1 and the arm falls, and then 2 and the arm falls. Almost every time. The 3rd time, the arm suddenly stops halfway, and everyone's like, "Whoa!" Because you get a big pop up.
I know, but
it seems kind of silly.
I've seen the wiggling the arm a whole bunch of times.
Oh, okay.
But then they never actually hold their arm still.
Yeah.
How do you that doesn't do anything to see if you're asleep, really?
I don't know. Well, I guess if your eyes are closed as well. And your whole body's not moving, you can tell. If you're asleep, I guess you know that they're asleep, and it's probably in the interest of safety, you'd want to break them free as quickly as possible. Now, I saw Ridgeway was actually slapping Robbie X to taunt him near the end as well. There was a great round of applause for Robbie as he gets to leave the ring, and you can tell that he's definitely a very popular figure, that's for sure. And there was people online who were talking about him as well. Also, I saw for this, MGW New Generation Wrestling. This is from Friday, I think, Mason. This Friday is we're recording. Who's excited for the Gen X Rules 4-way match at Hull City this Saturday? That's actually yesterday as we're recording. At Jake McCluskey, at the OJMO, at Robbie X, and at Sean Custom. Battling in an exciting Generation X 4-way match at Hull City on June 8th. Why am I mentioning that? Well, we talk about who they're facing. Jackson asked as soon as he came. He watched the start of the matches with us. He came down straight away and he's like, when's John Custard fighting? I think that's his favourite WrestleGate pro. He likes to call Sean Custom John Custard. So, Jackson, there's your answer, okay? He was fighting at Hull. Grapple Clothing. We are proud to announce at Chris Ridgeway as our first sponsored athlete joining Grapple Clothing. I also saw Chris was at Noah Wrestling in Japan since WrestleGate Pro. And I keep hearing Noah come up, but I don't know what it is. Did you know what it was? Have you heard of it?
No.
It says Noah started in 2000, has close ties to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and also TNA Wrestling as well, or Impact Wrestling as it's now called. So I guess that's why I'm not as familiar with it.
So, like, talking about going to sleep, I saw Christopher Daniels in a match, and then he was, like, fighting this guy, and then he got him in a chokehold, and then, like, his face turned purple.
Oh, gosh. It sounds like he applied it a little too hard.
Yeah, and then, like, the refs are supposed to, like, if it's applied to the windpipe, then you're supposed to break it 5, but then he didn't. But they just had, Christopher Daniels had to, like, sell it.
Oh,
to,
gosh.
like, a sell break.
Yikes. Alright, match 6. John, Bad Bones Klinger, versus Cara Noir. Now, we've seen Bad Bones before. He faced Mil Muertes at the first event, and he actually served a suspension after that match for attacking... I don't remember who he attacked. Was
Mil Muertes.
No, it was just for attacking Mil Muertes. Okay, so he was returning after a suspension. Now, we love to do our little Twitter things, like people that don't tweet a lot. I found a new one, Mason. Now, I only know one other person that actually does this, the @TweetOfGod. He has like millions of followers, probably 3 million followers, something like that. And he only follows one person, and the one person I might have told you before.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber, correct. Cara Noir has over 2,500 followers, only follows one person. I'm not going to ask you who it is, because I'm not even sure you'd know who this person is. The singer Cher. I thought that was pretty funny.
What?
And when you saw his dress attire, it actually kind of made sense. It's
yeah.
very flamboyant singer. I really loved his entrance. It reminded me, it was very artistic. It came out with the peacock feathers, the classical music. It kind of reminded me a little bit about Charlotte Flair when she puts her arms up, and it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I loved it. I thought it looked really good. At WTP Pod UK, that's the Wrestle Thoughts podcast on Brainbuster, they tweeted, at Cara Noir looks fantastic as he's set to face at Lost Rebel _BB at WrestleGate Pro Lion Spirit. All right, Mason, take it away.
A spear to Noir before the bell even rings. Noir got dropped on his head on the apron. Bad Bones wins with the Shadow Driver, and then after the match, Bad Bones... he, like, raises Noir's arm after the match, and, like, is he turning from a heel to a face?
It was surprising, and the commentary team was surprised as well, and we both thought the same thing. Uh-oh, he's coming back for more. I don't think so. From what I read on Twitter, everybody, and I was really impressed with Cara Noir as well. That's somebody who I'd when I first saw that match, I was like, this is going to be a squash match. I was like, he's not going to last at all. And he did. He was really impressive. And I think it was just a real show of respect that he put in such a good match. He took his bumps. He gave as good as he got. And no, I thought it was a really positive thing for this one. Now, I got a few more things on this. Cara Noir got beat down. There was a near 20 count. He just rolls in and then he gets kicked in the face immediately. And I actually like that. I saw on Mike Quackenbush's podcast, one of the things he talked about that's really important in wrestling is something called proximity. If you want to be believable, you need to always have that impression that you can win at any moment. Sometimes when people roll into the ring like that, they're on the opposite side of the ring. They just walk around a little bit. When that's happening, you never think they're actually going to win. So I really like that he went straight in and went for him. At WrestleGate Pro, one of the best debuts in WrestleGate Pro history. At Cara Noir brought everything and more on Saturday night. He earned respect from all in the audience and even Bad Bones himself, which, like we said, was unexpected. Match 7. Team Sin, which is Lucas Steele and Nathan Cruz, defeat Kings of the North, which was Bonesaw and Damian Corvin. Now, we've seen Lucas Steele in the second event when he defeated Callum Newman. And so Lucas Steele's a big Dolphins fan as well, which I like because I'm a Dolphins fan too. There's not many of us around nowadays. Now, I want to ask you, Mason, what were we doing almost a year ago? Or what were we doing in the first week of the summer holidays last year?
Probably, it was not going to England yet.
It was going to England.
Oh.
So where did we go in England?
We went that quick?
Yes, we had like 2 or 3 days and then we went.
Oh, okay. We went to Nottingham.
We did? And where did we go after Nottingham?
Butlins?
We did. So why am I asking you this? NGW New Generation Wrestling, who we mentioned earlier, this is from May 30th. Tearing the roof off at Butlin's Minehead tonight. What a crowd. Hashtag NGW UK. I don't remember if they had wrestling when we were there. Or
No,
if they
didn't.
did, we must have been doing something else. But yeah, they actually had people. Lucas Steele was actually there.
Oh.
And it showed you the whole arena. Because I remembered it as soon as they showed the picture. It was absolutely packed. I know we went to a few shows when it was really busy there.
Yeah, we went to like the air show thing. Not the air show, like the gymnastics thing. Like that.
But this was like May 30th. Now, it might have been the, the half-term weekend, so it might have been a little bit busy, like we had Memorial Day weekend. But yeah, considering it was only May, that place was absolutely packed for that. I would have loved to have seen that when we were there. Nathan Cruz also features on ITV's World of Sport. Now, I got a question for you, Mason, and I don't remember the answer, unfortunately. Who was the Spider-Man named character wrestler you saw recently?
Miles Morales?
Okay, alright. So, I got a story that links into this a little bit. This is why I'm asking you. Not long after gaining his superpowers, Peter Parker takes part in a promotional wrestling event so he could win the $3,000 prize money. He would have to last 3 minutes in a cage match with... I don't know how well you know your Spider-Man stories. You knew it better than me last time, which is why I'm asking you.
Miles Morales?
No, unfortunately not. Bonesaw McGraw. Although Bonesaw is an exceptional wrestler, Peter was quickly able to defeat him by using his spider powers and sensors. I wonder if that's where Bonesaw gets his name from then. That was the wrestler in this match as well. It was, as I was looking for something, that actually came up, so I just wondered if that was necessary. Now, also, as I was looking on that Spider-Man theme as well, did you know that Randy Savage first broke into the wrestling business in 1973, during the fall and winter of the baseball off-season? First of all, I didn't know he played baseball. That was kind of interesting. He tore a muscle in his arm, so he couldn't really bat or something. And then his first wrestling character was the Spider, which was similar to Spider-Man. So I found a couple of things while I was looking for Bonesaw, but I thought that was interesting about that story name with the Spider-Man. I couldn't remember if that was WrestleGate Pro or if it was a different one. And then I found that about Randy Savage as well. All right, Mason, go ahead.
So Nathan Cruz, okay. The commentators have like a 1 minute awkward silence. It was like weird.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Huh.
They were like talking all of a sudden, and then just like in the middle of a sentence, the commentator just stops.
No, that's really weird. I wonder if they had technical problems or something.
I don't know, because you could hear the wrestling perfectly fine. You could hear like the slam song.
But that could be from the microphones that are like ringside. That might not be from where they were recording. I don't know. Oh, I didn't even notice that at all. I was probably researching about Randy Savage at that point.
And then Lucas and Cruz wins with a choke slam.
No, actually, no, I wasn't. When we watched this over 2 days. You went to bed, and then I did the research for all the people while you went to bed, and then I could actually watch the wrestling matches, because I actually wrote down a few things for this one as well. Now, I actually noticed Bonesaw only had on one wrestling glove. I've never seen that before. There's not many wrestlers that actually wear gloves anyway, I don't think. Like, AJ Styles wears them. I think most do not. I've never seen anyone with one glove before. Like, if you play golf, you only put it on one hand, because the other hand doesn't need to... It was really strange. Can you think of anybody else that only wears one wrestling glove?
Blank for like a half a second when he takes off his gloves.
He takes off the glove. I had one thing before you went to the finish. Cruz had a crossface on Corvin, and he reversed it into a near pin, but besides that, I'm going to go with what you just said. Lucas Steele. This is actually... Was this Lucas Steele's second match? I think he had a singles match, and then he came out into the... There was somebody who had two matches then. So who had
Robbie
two
X
matches?
was supposed to have 2 matches.
Somebody had 2 matches.
Nobody did. Robbie X was supposed to.
Oh, was that what the deal was?
Yeah.
At Lucas Steele, at standout_Steele. Very proud to be a part of something special. We're just getting started. Hashtag WrestleGate Pro. At Dynamic Thinking, from the afternoon show for at NGW Wrestling UK to the evening show for at WrestleGate Pro, watching Standout Steele and Nathan Cruz work to very different audiences show how versatile Steele is and why Cruz has taken him under his wing. Both guys have unreal presence and talent. And that was something I'd forgotten about. This was actually like a double header. They actually had 2 different shows on the same day in the same venue. So some of these people had already wrestled earlier in the day as well. So that kind of makes that even more impressive. I did see something from Bonesaw. I think they're called Kings of the North, because on Twitter it mentions Bonesaw.
Yes, it's Kings of the
KOTN. First ever at TNT Extreme Wrest Tag Team Champions. So they've actually had some success. That was on June 8th. So that was yesterday as we're actually recording. That tweet was posted, so I think they probably won on the Friday. Okay, match 8. Rampage Brown and Shigehero Irie. Irie?
Irie.
It was Irie, but I think it's pronounced Irie, from what I can remember.
It is.
Rampage Brown used to wrestle for Florida Championship Wrestling, FCW. I don't know if you recognise that at all.
No.
That used to be like NXT before NXT happened, or as far as I can remember, because I was looking up his results. Now, he used to be called Monty Lynch there, and he lost matches to Husky Harris.
No.
That's the person that you claim is not Bray Wyatt, in case you remember.
Oh,
Remember that wrestler that looks just like Bray Wyatt, but you said he's not Bray Wyatt? But is Bray Wyatt?
I changed my mind.
Nah, I think that's probably a good idea. And actually, on the Raw segment in the whatever his segment's called on Raw right now, he actually had a pig character, and basically its name was Husky Harris. So it's definitely Bray Wyatt. Titus O'Neil. And Damien Sandow as well, although he's not in the WWE anymore.
Oh yeah, isn't he the one that mimics Miz?
It was, yes. He was.
And then Titus O'Neil, the one that fell in the Royal Rumble.
He was the one who fell in the Royal Rumble, and very amusingly, as he walked down the ramp this year to the 50-man Battle Royale, he deliberately sort of stopped just before the ring, put his hands up, and made sure he made very carefully into the ring so it didn't happen again.
Oh, that
so he
happened
made
already?
Yeah, that was on Friday.
Oh.
So he made fun of himself, which I thought was good of him to actually do that. The guy from Saudi Arabia, whose name I don't know, Mansour, I think his name is.
Oh.
So it was in Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arabian guy won it.
Oh, I don't even know. Oh, I heard that they have a 24/7 belt.
They do. Yeah, you haven't watched.
R-Truth won.
You've not been watching for a while. He did,
and then he lost to Jinder Mahal, but then he retained.
And then he lost to Jinder Mahal for a second time on an airplane while he was sleeping on the plane. He pinned him. And R-Truth has it back again. Oh no, sorry, I got it the wrong way around. Jinder Mahal pinned him while they were about to board the plane, and then while Jinder was sleeping, he pinned him again. So
exactly,
I
was thinking of that. Like, if it was like really a belt, couldn't you just pin them while they're sleeping?
He did.
I know, but like that, I guess you can't pin them whenever you want.
Yeah, you need to watch some more. You need to at least watch the highlights each week. But anyway, you're starting to fall behind on that.
And in a death match, can't you just like, I don't know, just like.
You know they don't have death matches on WWE, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Alright, Rampage Brown. He is currently the Defiant champion for a second time and has been champ for over a year in total. So once again, Defiant's coming back up again. He was the PCW Tag Team champion for over 1,200 days. That's over 3 years with Tyson T-Bone. And The Hunt defeated Tyson T-Bone on Saxon Huckley on NXT UK this week.
Huh.
I watched NXT UK this week, saw Tyson T-Bone, and then saw him mentioned when I was watching this one as well. I was like, oh wow. Alright, Mason, go ahead.
So, punching each other out on the outside for like 19 seconds because they have a 20 count, and then they got in at like the last second. And then Irie jumps off the top rope onto Rampage's back, and then Rampage's wins with a pile driver.
He does. Now, I got a couple other things from this one. Rampage blocked a spear through the ropes, and then Irie did get a spear through the ropes. And Rampage, it said, was possibly the first person ever to kick out of Beast Splash. Now, I know on his shirt it said Beast Mode, and I was trying to remember, I was like, who is Beast Mode? Do you remember who Beast Mode is? I was thinking it was Brock Lesnar to begin with.
I was about to say, but
it's not Brock Lesnar.
Isn't it the Claw guy? The guy on Impact? The big guy?
Well,
Brian Cage?
If it is, then it's actually not the one I was thinking of. I had to look it up online. I googled it. It's not a wrestler
like
at all.
Like a football player.
Yes, it's Marshawn Lynch,
yeah.
the running back. I was like, of course. I saw it, but I couldn't remember why I actually knew this. All right, after the match, at Keisha on Twitter. Despite what got everyone talking at WrestleGate Pro last night, the whole card I saw, but I missed the opener due to work and transport, was great. And mentions a few people, Robbie X, Irie, Rampage Brown, Giselle Shaw, and at Wrestling Gape. All were fantastic, they said. Dynamic thinking again. I like this dynamic thinking. Twice in the past few weeks, I've seen at Irie and at Rampage Brown. First at Southside WE, and then at WrestleGate Pro. Both times it's been an epic encounter that I hope wrestling fans get to see much more of. Now, also, it said Rampage Brown apparently was 0-2 in that series. So he actually won one, so he's 1-2 now, so he snapped that losing streak. Now, the reason I only talked about Rampage Brown is I didn't see a single tweet from Irie. He had tweets. Mm-hmm. Mentioned other events. Not one mention of WrestleGate Pro at all. I think that's really weird. I'm always surprised when I see that. One last thing for this one. At Ringside World, this is on June 7th, some Rampage Brown news. June 8th, announced for MGW Wrestling UK, Destiny Rumble in Hull, Justin Sison, Adam Maxted, and Nathan Cruz, and Rampage Brown. So Nathan Cruz we heard mentioned earlier because that was Lucas Steele's partner. So a lot of these people face each other.
Oh yeah, apparently he's been the one behind all the attacks.
Ah.
He's been, like, telling Lucas to do the attacks.
I'm not just in Size'em, I've heard that name before, but I'm not sure why. Might be World of Sport, possibly. Okay, let's get on to match 9, and this is the main event. This is Pac versus Jody Fleisch, or it's supposed to be. He didn't show, and I noticed this one also. The English audiences say Pac, the American audiences say Pac. So if we keep interchanging between the two, that's part of the reason. Like, I always thought it was weird because it's PAC. If you hadn't have asked me, I would have said Pac, like Pac-Man.
It depends. Like, the English people say X-Pac or X-Pac?
Oh, I never even thought of that before. I never really even thought about that.
I don't know.
All right, at Dave Bradshaw, the crowd reaction was unreal. The match was even better. At AEW Wrestling, hashtag Double or Nothing arrived early as at the Adam Page challenged Pac at WrestleGate Pro. So yes, his replacement for this match was Hangman Page, who was supposed to have featured at Double or Nothing a little bit later. At Ollie G21296, honestly, that reaction for Hangman at WrestleGate was just all kinds of insanity. I don't think I've ever seen a reaction like that for somebody coming out. I don't think I've seen a pop as big as that.
And I like how he has a rope around his neck when he comes out.
Well, I had to explain what a hangman was to you, because
Yeah.
you weren't... Surely you know the game Hangman, though,
Yeah.
where you draw the picture, and then... Well, I guess they don't really draw... You have the rope coming down, but then you just draw the head next to it. It doesn't really go around the neck, so... But yeah, we don't watch much Ring of Honor, because you asked me, is he on New Japan? And I'm like, I think so. I don't watch that, so I don't know. I know he's definitely on Ring of Honor. I'm sure he is on New Japan as well. So, yeah, he has a really good gimmick as well. And
Pac is Neville.
Yes, for people that don't know, Pac is Neville. And you were impressed because he hadn't lost a match in 20 months. I was like, I don't think he's really fought a match in 20 months. He was on the WWE roster for ages and just didn't fight. And then they finally released him. And then AEW signed him pretty quickly. So, yeah, that would be part of the reason for that.
And it depends, like what is a loss? Is it like a pin or a disqualification or a count out? Do those all count as a loss?
There was one more thing. Oh, I thought it was really impressive that WrestleGate Pro had such a big star as Hangman Page, and they didn't announce that ahead of time. For an organisation that's only their third event, if you got a big match like that, I think they sold out anyway, but that's got to be really hard not to mention. WWE always does spoilers like that. Hey, coming up this week on Monday is going to be this person here. And for the reaction it got, it was brilliant. That would make me want to go to WrestleGate Pro matches even more. Hey, you never know who's going to show up. Hangman Page showed up for the last one. Guess who's going to turn up for the next one? Because you just don't know. I think it's much more exciting when they actually do that one. All right, talk us through this match then, Mason.
Yeah, like when you announce one big name, but there's one other one. Like when like Fury Pro, they didn't announce Orange Cassidy.
Flying V.
Yeah, Flying V.
Mm-hmm.
So a red arrow to the outside from Pac. And then he kicks the refs in his dingo, and then Hangman Page pins him for a 3 with air quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually a 4, but then the ref rang the bell for a disqualification.
Mm-hmm.
And then Pac attacks Hangman Page after the match, and then he said he's not going to AEW because all he wanted to do there was hurt Hangman Page, but he did it here, so he's not going.
He did. I got a few other things from the match. I thought there was a great suicide dive through the ropes, and he pushed Pac into the guardrail. Those guardrails really bent backwards when he did that. Pac dive over the top rope was absolutely perfect, and I also got Hangman kicked out of a 450 splash as well. It was a great match.
Yeah, that dive to the outside, that was a red arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the whole match was really good. The fans were totally into it. And this was all over Twitter as well. This did actually go on. AEW had permission to release this match, so they got to show it on their channel. And, yeah, a lot of buzz for WrestleGate Pro. And, yeah, even more surprising. I'm still not quite sure what happened with that. Why they didn't actually... I don't know why that didn't appear at Double... was it Double or Nothing? Yeah, anyway. At Dave Bradshaw, thank you so much for all the kind messages about the commentary on this. It's been a real career highlight for me to play a tiny part in this historic week of the wrestling business. And with just over 1 week until the historic pay-per-view from the from the MGM Gardens Arena in Las Vegas, AEW is not only confronting these issues, it's being compromised them. In what is being described as creative differences, and I'm using air quotes, Adam Page versus Pac, a top match advertised for Double or Nothing, has been called off. after Page and Pac ran an angle at an overseas event in Nottingham, England. That actually appeared on Forbes.com, who's a really important website. Adam Page did appear then at the Battle Royal, which he won, which gives him the right to face Chris Jericho, now at All Out in Chicago, for the AEW World Championship.
I'm sure that's better than facing Pac for a second time.
Probably. At Defiant Wrestling, or at Defiant Rest, I should say. Don't miss Loaded this Sunday. Pac will challenge at Rampage Brown for the Defiant World Championship on Loaded this Sunday night at 8 p.m. I kept this right until the end because I knew this earlier for Rampage Brown. But yeah, so Pac's obviously still featuring in stuff, and Rampage Brown's obviously having big matches. So Defiant, there's another big person they got on their roster or is appearing in their matches, Pac. Pac has 600,000 followers on Twitter. No tweets since May 11th. He didn't comment once on this thing on WrestleGate Pro. That's really surprising as well. I don't know if this is, is this a work or something? Is it just, I really don't know. It's really surprising. At B Mitchell 182, I'd never heard of WrestleGate Pro until the Pac Page match. Now I'm hooked and definitely wanting more. Or waiting for more, sorry. Keep up the good work, guys. Yeah, for a young organization like this, to get two big names who people do know, that's definitely going to get you interested in that product and perhaps watching some of the... And that's kind of what happened for us. We watched more because it was in Nottingham. And that was the thing that brought us in. And then we saw how good it was, and we're like, I want to keep watching.
Is that why they raised the thing $2?
They definitely raised their price for this, which I wasn't going to mention necessarily. But yeah, it was $4 originally to rent, and this one was like $6.34, which I was like, what? That's a really strange price.
Is that tax?
And then I saw the reason why. In England, it was $4.99. And when you do the conversion rate, it works out at $6.34.
Oh.
Someone did comment, actually, which was interesting. Remember we talked about, and you actually mentioned it, you could get the first DVD for £5, right?
Yeah.
Someone said now, so you're charging as much to rent as you used to charge for buying a DVD. And it's true, their prices have gone up. I still think it's worth it. And as I talked to you, not that I bought pay-per-views in that era, but going back 20 years ago, people used to pay like $50 for a pay-per-view. So $6.34 in this era is still way, way less than that. And it was a fantastic event.
And it's like $10 for the whole month now, and you could have a whole bunch of things on the network.
You could on the WWE Network. That was kind of the thing. Now, I cancelled my network a couple of weeks ago anyway, and I wasn't going to watch the Super Showdown in Saudi Arabia anyway. So that was like $5, which is basically what I paid for this anyway. So for me, that was a good trade-off. But yeah, an interesting one. I'll be curious to know what their figures are, particularly with you being able to watch that Hangman Page match for free on another channel. Would people be prepared to pay $6.34 to watch the other matches? And the answer to that is, I don't know. I would be very interested to see how that business decision worked out. Because I'm sure some people are like, I'm not going to pay more now. You just charged me $4, and now you're raising it already. I guess the thing that will decide it for other people is, who do they get on their fourth card? And they've already announced it's going to be like a heavyweights tournament. I haven't seen any massive names, like when we knew that Neville, or Pac as it was going to be on that one, everyone was really excited by that, because that's a former WWE person. Don't know. We'll have to see how that works out for them. Alright, any closing thoughts, Mason?
No.
Alright, that'll do it for us then.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/
You are listening to Visionary.